Alright, welcome guys to another scripting tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to do a teleport tool, except without the tool part. So, that means this script is going to let the player teleport without using a tool. I wrote this before I started recording, just so I can kind of do this right, I guess. I'm going to kind of show you the script, how it works, and then I'll delete everything, and then we will rewrite it together. So, all you have to do is put a local script into the starter pack. Again, just to clarify, we're going to make it so that the player can teleport without having to use a tool. Not that using a tool is a bad thing, but it's just kind of fun because all they have to do to teleport is press T, and we could also change it so that they just have to click, but that's probably not good because usually you want to click on other things as well in a game, but this might be useful for like a battle game or something. Now let's just go through real quick. You've got the standard wait1 and the player equals game.players.localPlayer, which I've explained in previous episodes. And I don't think I've showed this before though. What we can do to quickly get the mouse of the player is say player : get mouse. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just another method you can use to get the mouse from the player. This actually hasn't been around since the beginning, but they added it last year, I think. I don't know. But yeah, it's a nice little tool. By the way, why do we need the mouse? Well, we need the mouse because we need to check for when a key is pressed on the keyboard. That's on the keyboard, not the mouse though, right? Well, we still use the mouse for that. We don't have to get the keyboard from the player because that's just really inconvenient. They just said, let's give him the mouse and then do stuff with that. Now, we also need the mouse to get where the player is actually pointing so that you can teleport there. And we also need to get the torso of the player because we need to teleport the player by moving the torso to where the mouse is pointing. And we can just do that by saying player.character, make sure you capitalize the C, character, and then colon, and then you do wait for child, and in the quotation marks you have torso. Now, I don't think I've showed you this guys before. I don't think I've showed you this before either. So wait for a child is just all it does is it keeps waiting for the torso or whatever you put in here. It keeps waiting for a child that is named this name, and the torso is held inside the character. That's why we use the character. I don't think I've showed this before either. I mean, you can just get the player's character by saying player.character. Kind of a weird thing, I guess. You might think you would have to do something like player : like get character, or something complicated like that. I'm surprised they didn't do it that way, but all you have to do is say player.character, which is pretty nice. Now, all we have to do is make sure. All we have to do is make sure that's, or not make sure. We have to check for when a key is pressed. More accurately, when a key goes down on the keyboard. So we say mouse.keyDown, and this is the same type of way we did this in other episodes, you know. And that means it's just going to wait for the key down event with the mouse, and then when that happens we're going to connect to this function. I haven't explained this before though. We don't have to make a whole new function up here. We can just put the function straight in here. This kind of, I guess it makes it a little more it seems a little more cluttered if you've never seen this before, but it does make less. It puts less lines in the code, and it's a little. It's once you've gotten used to it, it's easier. Maybe not easier, but it's faster to read. Um, these are called anonymous functions. I don't know if that's what someone called them one time when I was learning scripting, but yeah, you can just call them that, anonymous functions, because they don't have a name. And let me show you the structure for that. So you've just put the entire function inside the parentheses for the connect method. And then after the function, you put the two parentheses with the argument inside. Just to refresh, if you were to have a function that had a name, we'd say function Bob. We called it Bob. We'd say function Bob, and then the parentheses, and then we'd have an end down here as usual. But since this is straight in the connect method, we don't have to name it. Now, and this is useful for if you want to just do something like this. You know what I mean. Let's move on. Now, all we have to do is say if key is equal to t, and we know what key is because we have it in the argument right here. We could, obviously, as usual, we could call this anything we want. We could say cheese. All we have to do is make sure this says cheese as well. Now, this will work. But because it's a key that we're pressing, we're not pressing cheese, we're pressing a key. We're just going to call it key. And this is done in the same way that we do when we did like the touched event, which passes on the part that touched the, I don't want to get too wordy here, but I've probably already done that. But anyway, so if we say key is equal to t, make sure this is lowercase. I think it has to be lowercase anyway. And we can do this for any other key, except for, I've had problems with the L key. For some reason the L key doesn't like to work. Last time I checked anyway. That might have just been a bug and they fixed it or something. But anyway, we're just gonna have a T because T stands for teleport and it's in a convenient place on the keyboard. You know what, let's do E. No, let's do T because I already set it to T. Now, what do we do now? We just say, or let me recap what we just did. We just we added the listener for when the key is pressed. And then when the key is pressed, if it was the T key that was pressed, then we are going to teleport the player. And actually, I should probably get rid of these for now. I'll probably explain what that was in a second. Basically, all that thing that I just deleted, all it did was check to see if where the player was clicking was in a certain distance from the torso. That way you can't teleport too far away. Now, let's look at this line. Torso.cframe, and we did this with Jimmy, remember? Jimmy, we just changed his C-frame to... Actually, let's go back so I can refresh your minds. Now, this is the Jimmy brick. Oh, wrong place. Let's see. Let's zoom in on Jimmy. Remember whenever we click Jimmy, he like teleports, he like jumps over just a few studs? This is kind of how it works. We're just setting Jimmy's C-frame to a new C-frame. And that's kind of what we're doing here as well. We're saying, oh, wait, this needs to be fixed as well then. Let's see. Yep, that's right. Okay. I had something going on here. Oh, that was kind of... Let's see. You saw nothing. That angles thing was never there. Anyway, torso.cframe equals cframe.new, mouse.hit.p, plus vector3.new. What does this even mean? I'm going to explain. So, what we need to do is get where the mouse is touching, right? And you know what? Let's just play the game. I'm going to press F6 to go into play solo. Let's just play the game here, and I'll show you that this does work. Now I'm going to press T. Teleports me all over the place. Super fun. We can just... So whenever I press T, it's teleporting me to that spot. I'm going to move my mouse over here on top of this little thingy. Teleports me right here. Now, oops, wrong script. Go down here. Okay, so what we're doing is we are setting the torso C-frame, because we got the torso up here, remember, so we're good. We're just setting the C-frame to the mouse's position right here. We're saying C-frame.new mouse.hit.p. Why do we need the .p? Or what is let's back up for a sec. What does hit even mean? Hit is the coordinate frame, the C-frame of the mouse position. Does that make sense? So, excuse me. It's not a position. What we want to do. Okay, well, first of all, let's do this. Why can't we just? I'm kind of getting out of control here. Sorry. Frame. We'll just explain this in a sec. Leave these on. What we're doing is getting the C-frame of the mouse, of the mouse's position, or the C-frame of, where the mouse is pointing, and then we're getting the position of that. Now if we look, here, let me find, I think if I drag this over here, hello, hopefully that worked. We are here at the wiki on the Roblox place, and this is the C-frame thing. If we, you can probably go to this page if you want. .p is a property of C-frame, which means it's just the the 3D position of the C-frame, and it's a vector 3 value. Oops, I was actually asking some questions. Wait a minute. Okay, so let's go right back here. Now, hopefully this makes sense. We're just setting a new C-frame to the mouse position. Okay, then we're just adding a new vector 3 value so that the player isn't actually squished into the ground when we teleport. If we could take away this part if we wanted to, but then it would get the player squished into the ground. But we're setting him 3 studs higher than where he clicked, which means, and that seems to be a good height because it puts the player just like a half a stud above the ground where you click. Now, let's see. We already tested it out, so it works. Now that you know the script, you can write it down yourself. I'll put the script in the description below. But we're just going to nuke this, and we are going to rewrite it. You don't have to do this part, but I mean, you can just look over the code because I've already given you the code, but and I'll put in the description below as well. But we're just going to rewrite this for if you want to help you remember this stuff, Wait 1, right? We start out with that. We also need to, so our ultimate goal is to get the mouse to get the mouse and the torso so that we can teleport the torso at the mouse's position, right? Okay, so how do we get those? First we need to get the player. Player equals game dot players dot local player. We can do that since we're in a local script. Then we just say, let's get the torso first. Why not? Torso equals player dot character. Wait for child torso. And the reason we need to do this is because this script might run before the character actually spawns, and then it would try and get the torso from the character even though it doesn't exist yet. So that's that. That's why we need to do wait for child. I should have explained that before. Now all we do is to get the mouse, we just say mouse equals player get mouse. Make sure to capitalize both of those. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Now we just got to do mouse.key down, connect function, and then we're going to put key right in here. Just for fun, let's do cheese. And then it's going to give us an end here, but make sure you put the ending parenthesis, oops, not a 0, put the ending parenthesis right there. Because it doesn't do that for you. It doesn't put the parenthesis there for you, it just does the end. Now, what we need to do is say if cheese, because that is the key, if cheese is equal to, and let's do it E this time, because that's right there, you know. All we have to do is if cheese is equal to E, then we're going to teleport the player. Actually, I never explained the thing where we check the distance. Let me show you that this time. This is going to be kind of complicated, just not complicated, just a little confusing, I guess, just to warn you, so don't get mad at me. This is something that you can't try and logically figure out. You have to just go with it. You have to know how to use it, even though you don't know how it works. So what we need to do is say, let's do it a little differently this time, just to make it easier to read for you guys. This is kind of an advanced episode, I guess, but you know, we're all good. So we're gonna say dist. That's short for distance. We can say dist equals, and make sure let's just do 2 parentheses right there, and we're gonna say torso dot position minus mouse dot hit dot p, and that's the position of the mouse, and then dot magnitude. Okay, dot magnitude is the distance from okay, so let's say you have a vector 3 value. That's like a position, and it's going to get the distance of that position from 0. So, and that's kind of a weird thing to think about, I guess, but this is how you get the distance. It's subtracting the torso's position, or is subtracting from the torso's position the mouse.hit.p. And you can switch these around if you want. The order of these 2 values doesn't matter, but we just put one of those first. And then it gets the magnitude of it, and that gives us the distance from the torso's position to the mouse's position. Does that make sense? Okay, now if dist is, let's make sure it's smaller than or equal to 100, then it will teleport the player, and we just have to rewrite what we did before. And all we're doing is setting a new C-frame value to the torso, right? So we say torso.cFrame equals, and we need, and let's do something a little different this time. Mouse.hit plus vector3.new 030. Okay. I feel like I don't need to explain this, because you guys know what vector 3s are. I already told you when we made Jimmy teleport. My throat's getting dry. Hope that doesn't make me sound boring. Let's see. Okay, so that's all it is. This will work, but it's going to have a little bit of a problem, and I'm going to show you. Let's press F6 here. Okay, and it was E, right? Okay, so look at that. Just look at it. We're sideways now. And we can walk around here, I guess. Let's try, and if we jump, it'll put us back in our right orientation. So it kind of, yeah, like, flats us on the ground. So what's happening is mouse.hit actually has a rotation. And that rotation, I think, is like the rotation, so like from the camera to the actual position of the mouse. And that's the angle. So it's setting the torso to that angle. Does that make sense? Since we're looking at the ground from an angle and we teleport there, it's, you know, re-angling the torso. And that's why we have to use hit mouse.hit.p instead of just mouse.hit. Okay, so why can't we just do this then? Mouse.hit.p. Well, that is because you cannot set a C frame to a vector3 value. Right now, all this is a vector3 value, because mouse.hit, you say mouse.hit, it's a C frame value. As soon as you add the .p, it's just a vector3 value. It just has the x, y, and z coordinates of the mouse. So that means, that means it's just adding these two vector3 values together. I don't know why you can't set a C frame. Well, it makes sense. You just can't set a value to a different, or you can't set a variable or a property to a different value type. So trying to set a C frame to a vector3 value right here is like the same thing as doing this. Let's say pi equals cheese, okay? And then we're going to say number equals 2, or okay, 23 then. Now we're going to say, we're going to say pi plus number. That doesn't work. We can't set a string value, or we can't add a string value and a number value together. And that's the same concept. Why we cannot set a C frame to a vector3. And that is why all we have to do is this, frame.new, and then this is a constructor, cframe.new, but that doesn't even matter. So it's kind of like doing the same thing as a vector3 .new type of thing, except this will accept just a vector3 value in the parentheses. But Ethan, you're setting a C frame value to a vector3. It's the same thing. No, it's not. It's this language is made to do this. We're not setting a C frame value to a vector3. We are creating a new C frame value with a position of this mouse.hit.p, and then we're just not even giving it the rotation. So that has been teleportation without using a tool. I hope this all made sense to you guys. I really appreciate you watching this video. If you made it to the end, congratulations, because I feel that this has gotten a little bit long. But yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.